In this video, let's talk about food. In my previous gear video, I talked about making a separate video to focus on food that I take while backpacking. I try to keep it pretty simple and just focus on foods that I'll enjoy eating while I'm out on the trail and foods that are easy to prepare and don't weigh a whole lot. So with that in mind, here's a sample 3-day backpacking meal plan that I might take. This is pretty consistent with what I'll eat on the trail on a regular basis, but some things might get swapped out, just depending on what I feel like eating that trip. So for the first day, I typically won't pack a breakfast since I usually will have breakfast before I hit the trail, but I'll want to make sure I have a snack to eat while I'm hiking, so I'll take a Cliff Bar. If I stop for lunch, I usually have something simple like a wrap with a packet of Spam, and then a snack for later in the day. I'll just eat one of these Nature Valley oats and honey bars. For dinner, usually the first night while I'm out on a trip, I'll go with the Mountain House beef stew. It's kind of a tradition, and I enjoy the beef stew ones. They're kind of hard to find. Usually I have to order them online, or sometimes I'll get lucky and find them in the store, but not every place carries the beef stew for some reason. And then for dessert, I'll do a Snickers bar. For day 2, I'll usually start with coffee for sure in the morning, either these Cafe Bustelos instant or the Starbucks Via instant coffees. Those are pretty good. And then that's some powdered milk, Nido. I'll show the package later when I'm showing other food options. I'll do a Pop-Tart, and then snack is pretty much the same: a Cliff Bar, lunch, Spam packet with a wrap, a snack of another Nature Valley oatmeal bar, and then for dinner I might switch it up and do Idahoan mashed potatoes with some tuna. I like the Evo tunas. They have olive oil in it. Get a little bit extra fat while you're on the trail. And then a Snickers bar again for dessert. For day 3, I usually have oatmeal, coffee as well with the Nido powdered milk, and that can go both with the oatmeal and the coffee. And then again, I'll have a Cliff Bar for a snack as I'm hiking out. I typically don't pack a lunch. Sometimes if I do, I'll just pack another Spam packet or another tuna packet, something that's quick and easy to eat. But typically, if my plan is to be out before lunchtime, then I won't pack it. But I do have some Welch's fruit snacks, a couple extra coffees in case I want to drink coffee after dinner, any of the nights on the trail. And then I've been using these Noon hydration tablets, which are pretty easy to make on the trail, and so far I like them pretty good. I was using Gatorade before pretty exclusively, but trying to cut back on the sugar, although you wouldn't guess from all the other food that's here. And then, as I mentioned in my previous gear video, typically I'll take the bear canister if I'm doing a backpacking trip where I know there's going to be some bear activity. So pack all that stuff up in there and call it good. When it comes down to backpacking foods, it's really about personal preference and taste. Some people have to take into consideration dietary restrictions and allergies, but nowadays there's such an assortment of things to choose from. You can usually put together a pretty good meal plan for yourself if you do some research and test out a couple things before you hit the trail. I personally like the Mountain House meals for a quick and easy dinner, but frankly, you can choose from any company. If you go to a store like REI, they'll have a ton of different options and different meals available, and some that are very clearly marketed towards people with dietary restrictions. There's vegan meals, there's all kinds of things you can pick from. These are a couple options that I'll sometimes take with me. Mountain House has a bunch of other flavors, so the biscuits and gravy is pretty good. These pasta sides I'm still experimenting with. I can't seem to get the cook time right. I do freezer bag cooking, so I don't like to cook in my pot. So what I'll do is I'll boil the water and pour everything into a freezer bag, and then I think I'm kind of impatient, so I must not let it sit long enough because it usually doesn't come out right. But I'm still working on those. Ramen's a tried and true choice. You can mix that with the tuna fish. You can throw some Spam in it. You can eat it by itself. You can mix it with the potatoes and do the ramen bomb thing. I have some salmon here. Some people like to mix that in. So ramen's a pretty good thing to choose, and if you're going for multiple days, it just gives you another option for something different to eat. For lunches, the mission wraps or the flour tortillas go pretty well with anything. You can get these Skippy peanut butter individual packets. Like I said, the tuna, the salmon, Spam, it can go with anything really. And then coffee options are pretty much unlimited for instant coffee, but instant coffee is kind of crappy, so it really does come down to like finding a brand that you can tolerate while on the trail. There are definitely options. You can bring out a little coffee drip set up to make your coffee in the morning, but most people don't want to carry the extra weight. That's about it. So if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video, and if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Take care.